Hey, yeah, you, on the other side of the screen. Welcome back to Books and Tea Time. I'm Natalie, your hostess. The hostess of this vlog. Oh no, I'm a weirdo, but it's okay. That's what I'm gonna make my brand on. We're weird and we like it. Welcome back to my channel. It's time for the introductory clip. Let's talk about what I'm gonna read this week. So, last week I read almost 1,000 pages. I was like 50 pages shy, and I'm feeling a little competitive with myself now. I'm like, you know what? This week, future Addie is gonna kill it. Future Adeline, oh my god, I'm probably confusing you. A lot of my friends call me Addie. My family calls me Adeline. I want to hit 1,000 pages this week. Will it happen? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. But let's talk about my reading plans because I've got some. First things first, my ultimate goal this week is to finish my Byron biography. So this is something that I'm reading for a research project that I'm working on over the summer. I have been reading this bad boy since May, I think. I've been reading like 50 pages a week, but I am currently on page 390 and I want to finish it. I need to be done. I love it and it's really good. It's well written, but I really want to be done so that I can move on to the writing process, because if I could read forever and procrastinate writing forever, I would, but I need to get going, get in the groove, and start writing. The second book is an audiobook. I have usually anywhere between 4 and 5 books that I'm reading at one time. I have my research or school books, which is this bad boy. I have like a fun read, I have a nonfiction read, and then I have an audiobook. So it's chaotic. I don't really know how I do it, but it's how I read a lot, so I just go with the flow. So my audiobook of the week is Steel Tide by Natalie C. Parker. I'll include an image because it is an audiobook. And I downloaded this through my local library app, Overdrive, and I'm gonna listen to it this week. So Steel Tide is the second book in the Sea Fire trilogy by Natalie C. Parker. It is a story about a boat full of badass female pirates, and the magic system in the world is really interesting. I had mixed feelings about this book though, and I actually have a post up on my blog right now, which is my winter wrap up, where I talk about why I have mixed feelings about this book, but I wanted to give the second one a try. So I'm gonna listen to the audiobook for the second one, which is Steel Tide, and we'll see if I continue. I'm really hoping that it's one of those things where it gets better as it goes on, but I don't know. We shall see. And then continuing on with our ocean sea theme, I am so excited to be picking up The Deep this week by Rivers Solomon. So this book is about black mermaids. I hauled it in my previous video and I have a little more of a detailed description of the synopsis there, but essentially this is about black mermaids who are the descendants of people who died in the transatlantic slave trade in the ocean before they got to their destination after being captured and enslaved. And I've heard really good things about this. Everybody's raving about it on BookTube and Bookstagram, so I'm really excited. It's short and I can't wait to read it. This is gonna be my fiction pick for the week, but I'm hoping to read this really quickly, and then after that we are going to visit my incredibly tall TBR stack to figure out what I'm gonna pick up next. But I genuinely have no idea. I just know that I want to read this first. So we're gonna start with this and we'll see where the week takes us. The last thing I have, so you want to talk about Race downstairs. I keep forgetting to bring it up to my room, but that's the nonfiction book that I'm reading for the week, and I'm hoping to finish that as well. It's by Ijeoma Oluo. It's another anti-racist literature text, and I'm really enjoying it. But yeah, those are the reading plans. It is currently Monday night at 10 o'clock. Full transparency, I'm probably gonna watch Netflix for the rest of the night. I don't know if I'll get any reading in, but tomorrow, after I read a good chunk of the Byron biography in the morning and like my work time, I'm gonna pick up The Deep and probably start the audiobook for Steel Tide. I hope everybody is having a good Monday. I know it's one of the harder days of the week. I don't really have too many plans this week. Probably gonna try and go on a bike ride with Alexander because he got a bike for his birthday. Other than that, just reading a lot, honestly, because I really want to, like I said, I really want to read 1,000 pages. I don't know why. Also, I'm in competition. It's a secret competition, kind of, like we're passive aggressive about it, but my dad and I both read a lot. My mom reads a lot too, and my brother reads here and there, but my dad and I are kind of competitive with our Goodreads goals, so I have been kind of ahead of him the past few months. I have like 36 books, I think, and he has like 33 or 32, so I want to keep finishing books because I never ever beat him for books read because he always reads more than I do. But this year is my year, guys. I'm gonna beat him this year. I swear I'm going to. Hello, it's Wednesday. I didn't film at all yesterday. Apologies. I woke up rather late yesterday and I feel like I spent the whole day just playing catch up on things and I just ended up not filming. I didn't really read much at all, so we're off to a bad start for my hit 1,000 pages goal this week. But I read like 20 pages of my Byron biography and then watched a lot of YouTube, and then Alexander came over at night and we watched some Netflix, so I really didn't get anything done reading wise. I really just didn't get much done in general, so that's where I'm at right now. But this afternoon I read 40 pages of The Deep by River Solomon and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm very interested to see how this book pans out because I feel like the world that Solomon is setting up for us is so rich that I find it hard to believe this book can be so short. I feel like the premise could easily be a 500-page or multi-book fantasy series, and this book is like only 160-ish pages, so I'm interested to see how that pans out. But so far, even in the first 4 chapters, we just have such a richly imagined world and system. It's not really a magic system, but I guess it kind of is. So basically in this world we follow the Wajinru people, who are mermaids living in like the deep, darker parts of the ocean, and they are the descendants of enslaved African women who were pregnant when they fell over on slave ships or were thrown over on slave ships. And in order to escape the painful histories and the memories of their descendants who were enslaved and underwent incredible torture and pain on these slave ships, in order to escape that, there's only one person in the Wajinru community who is responsible for holding all of the memories, and our main character, Yetu, I think is how you would say her name, Y-E-T-U, she is responsible for holding all of those memories. So right now we're just following her and understanding how these memories are sort of bogging her down and overcoming her individual identity and blocking her from living her life. And I think it's just very beautiful and fascinating, and I'm just really loving the writing and the language, so I'm hoping to finish this really quickly, and I think that I will, and then we'll see what I pick up after. But I just wanted to give you an update quickly about that. Also, as I said, I've been watching a lot of YouTube and I noticed so many Reading Rush TBRs floating around, so I wanted to quickly give you guys my Reading Rush TBR. So Reading Rush is hosted by Ariel Bissett and Raeleen, I think is the name of the person who hosts it with her, and it's a read-a-thon in July, and the idea is you read 7 books that go along with 7 challenges, but you can double up on challenges, which is what I'm gonna do because I don't know if I can read 7 books in 7 days. But the read-a-thon happens from July 20th to 26th, I think, so it's still a week or 2 away, but I've been watching a lot of TBR videos and I wanted to just share my TBR with you guys really quickly. If you want to participate, I'll have the link to their video down below where they announce the challenges and their books that they're reading for it. So the first two challenges I actually squished into one. The first challenge is to read a book whose cover is the same as your birthstone. So I am born in November. I am a Scorpio baby, and my birthstone is like citrine topaz. It's like this like yellowy brown orange color. It's very strange. The book that I chose is well, okay, here's the thing. I'm not reading this entire thing because that would be insane. I'm reading the Iliad for this challenge, not both the Odyssey and the Iliad. I'm reading the Iliad. The Iliad's first, so it's actually a good chunk of it, but it's like only that much out of this. So like this is the Iliad, this is the Odyssey. So that corresponds with the first challenge because part of the cover, like, this is similar to my birthstone. It's like the closest thing that I could find to my birthstone, but it also corresponds with the second challenge, which is read a book whose title starts with the. So the Iliad. I've been really wanting to read this. It's one of the classics that I want to read. I am going to be posting a classics TBR on my blog, I think next week. I have a lot of classics that I want to read, and this is one of them, the Iliad and the Odyssey. I hauled this, I think, 2 videos ago, and this is like one of the Barnes & Noble editions, really pretty. So this is going to cover the first 2 challenges. 2 other challenges are read the first book that you touch, and this is up to the reader's interpretation. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to like shuffle the 3 books that I have for my TBR on the first day, and whichever one I grab first, it'll just be the first one that I start reading. So that's how I'm gonna cover that challenge. And then another challenge is you have to read a book entirely outside. So I'm gonna read the shortest one entirely outside, which I will be showing you in a quick moment. But those are 2 of like the strange challenges, so I just wanted to group those together. So that's 4 of the challenges right there out of the 7. And now I don't want to call it cheating because you're allowed to combine, you're allowed to make it easier for yourself. So this next one also covers 2 challenges, and the 2 challenges that it covers are first to read a book that was inspired by a movie, which movie you've seen but book you haven't read. So I had no idea what to do for this challenge because first of all, I haven't watched a lot of movies recently, and I just felt like I had no idea what I wanted to do. But then I read another challenge and it all started to fall into place. So the other challenge that this one covers is read a book from a genre that I want to read more of. And one of the genres I want to get into is like graphic novel / manga, however you say it, novels. So I don't have any of the ones that I want to get into on hand, but I did have this second installment of Wonder Woman by Greg Rucka, and I read the first one I think last summer, and I really liked it. The art style is really, really beautiful, and so I got the second one, the second volume, which is titled Year One. The first one I think is Wonder Woman The Lies, I'm pretty sure. So I'm covering this as the genre I want to read more, which is graphic novels. Obviously this is under that, I mean it's a comic, but it's that general idea, comics, manga, graphic novels, things like that. But also I have seen Wonder Woman, and I'm really excited for the new Wonder Woman, hopefully coming out soon. I mean, this didn't technically inspire the movie, but all of the comics of Wonder Woman inspired the movies of Wonder Woman and the TV shows with Wonder Woman in them, so I'm just counting it. And this is also the shortest one, so I'm gonna read this one outside. So this is the other one. It's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is such a boss ass bitch. I love her. Okay, and the very last challenge, the 7th challenge of this year's reading rush read-a-thon, is to read a book that is set in another continent, or just basically one that's not set on the continent in which you live. I live in North America, so for this one I chose Girls of Paper and Fire. So, I know what you're thinking. This is a fantasy book. Of course, it's not set in any continent that we're familiar with. Which perhaps that is true. I'm counting this for two reasons. First of all, it's a South Asian inspired fantasy story, so if it was set anywhere, it would be set in Asia, which is obviously not North America, so that counts. But also, the author, Natasha Ingan, grew up in Malaysia and the UK. Like, she grew up traveling between those two places. And neither of those are North American places. So I'm counting it, and I just hauled this in my last video. I'm so excited. There's a female romance in this. It's a fantasy story, and I'm really craving some fantasy, so I think that I am going to really love this, and I think this will be another very quick read because it'll be like fast-paced and interesting, and there's romance. So I think that of the three that I chose, the one that I'm gonna have the most trouble with is probably the Iliad. But here's my reading rush TBR. Comment down below if you guys are participating, what you're reading. I would love to know. If you're more ambitious than I am and you're going for 7 or more than 3, because this is totally cheating. But it's my first time participating in the reading rush, and I want to be successful. So I'm setting myself up for success instead of setting myself up for failure. Yeah. Plans for the day. Probably going to Alexander's to hang out there for a little bit. I don't know what we'll do. Probably just hang out, watch some TV. Can't really go anywhere because, you know, pandemic. Hashtag wear a mask, people. But I will be reading more of the deep today. If you're into graphic novels, manga, and or comics, comment your favorites down below. Because I haven't read many, but I want to get into them. I've read the first volume of Ms. Marvel, and I love that. I want to buy the second one. And I've read the first one of Wonder Woman, and I'm going to keep reading the Wonder Woman ones by Greg Rucka because I love the art style, and I'm interested in the Wonder Woman lore that he's spinning. So yeah, that's that. I'm going to try and be better at vlogging today and the rest of the week.
On a beautiful walk on this beautiful day with Princess Mackenzie and Senor Pizza Planet.
Just checking in, currently about a little over halfway through the deep right now. I have, I think, like 60-70 pages left, and I'm hoping to finish it right now, if not get really close, and then we'll visit the TBR stack and see what we're going to pick up next. So I just brought up my lovely lady plants from being watered, and I decided to move Persephone over here. All 3 of my plants used to be right here. We'll show you that in a second. But I was noticing, I think that the sun is kind of damaging her leaves a bit. I think she was too close to direct sunlight. I don't know. I've only had 2 succulents before, and they both died, so I'm really determined to keep these plants alive. But not only do I want them to live, but I want them to thrive. So I'm gonna try putting her over here on top of the bookshelf, and hopefully she'll get some indirect sunlight from this window, and that'll be enough, and that'll keep her happy and healthy. But then over here we have the 2 little babies, and I moved my picture of Milo over here. That was over where Persephone now is. This is Vashti, my little bamboo baby, and I have really high hopes for her because when I bought her at the store, they had really big versions of this, so I bought like the baby version of her in the hopes of being able to grow her myself. There's some dirt from Persephone. And then I have this little succulent, Venus. You can't really see her name anymore because it looks like a Venus flytrap to me. And these two I know, and I know it said that they need a lot of direct sunlight, especially this little gal over here. And that's like kind of this like later afternoon part of the day is when it really streams in through this window. So yeah, I think these guys will do better over here in the direct sunlight, but they were just watered and now it's just time for them to enjoy. Also, I just finished The Deep like an hour ago, so I'll come on in a little bit and give you guys my final thoughts about that. I ended up reading it over 2 days, which is great. That's what I was hoping for. So we've already finished the book this week, and now I'm trying to decide what I want to read next. And these are my 3 options. So we have Patsy, Conjure Woman, and The Rage of Dragons. I really want to read these. I think these are both like literary fiction. I think this one has a little like magical realism in it. I'm not 100% sure. And then this is fantasy. Probably what I'm going to do now before I eat dinner is I'm going to read the first like paragraph of each one, and whichever one catches my attention the most, I'll probably just read that one first. But honestly, I don't think I can go wrong. These all look really great. I keep forgetting to tell you guys this, but I am like just shy of 10% of the way through listening to Steel Tide by Natalie C. Parker, which is the second book in the Seafire trilogy that I mentioned in the first clip. So I am listening to that. I listened to it while I cleaned up around the house today. So I've finished a book, I've been chipping away at the Byron biography, and I've been listening to Steel Tide. Did I say Steelfire the first time? It's Steel Tide. And then now I'm about to pick up another one of these bad boys. So I'll let you know and update you on what I choose, and I'll come back in a few short minutes to talk about The Deep. Hi guys. I'm outside on my porch, and I just wanted to give my brief thoughts about The Deep. Because honestly, all I can say is that I love this so much, and I encourage you to read it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, easily a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Guys, this book is incredible. I was very worried that I was gonna think that it was too short for what Solomon does with the like fantasy community of mermaids that they have created, and I was a little nervous that I was going to be like, oh, I liked it, but I wish it was longer. And I think that it was the perfect length, and I think that it's magnificent what Solomon is able to achieve in only 150 some pages. And some things that I really enjoyed are the comments on history and memory, and just the nuances of memory and how memory affects the individual but also a group of people, and how memory of the past and can affect you and sort of bog you down, and then especially considering how the past of people who have been oppressed and murdered and thrown over ships during the transatlantic slave trade, there's a lot of pain and loss, and Solomon recognizes that, and they don't shy away from it or try and hide it from our eyes, but what they are able to do is create a world where you can live in conjunction with that loss and pain, and that is really beautiful. I also love the ideas, how our main character Yetu comes to understand history as not something that's fixed and just fact. History depends upon the teller or the historian. Their individual biases and their experiences skew how we understand history, and I think that is explored in here. So history and memory, I'm really intrigued by the idea of memory, and this reminded me of another book that I've heard about, The Memory Police. I'm not 100% sure who the author is, but I know that Noelle Gallagher, who's another YouTuber, booktuber, said that she enjoyed that book, and there's also exploration of memory in that book. So I think that this book sparked an interest for me in text about memory. Definitely read this book. It's too short and magical and rich with history and rich with just, it's like every page just has this wealth of introspection and creativity, and the beauty of the ocean is just like, I can almost see it before my eyes. So it's too short and too amazing for you not to read it. I highly recommend it. Even though it's short doesn't mean that there isn't a wealth of emotion and knowledge and feeling there. So definitely take your time with it. And I loved it. 5 out of 5 across the board for everything. Characters are amazing. We get a lot of great representation in here and exploration of LGBT identities and just individual identities and how people understand identities in these two communities of like the two-leggeds or humans and the Wojinru, who are the mermaid descendants of these humans. So that's really beautiful. World and plot, absolutely amazing for how quick and short this book is. The plot and this community of mermaids and their history is so beautifully communicated, and I thought that it would have to be 500 pages for that to be communicated to me, and Solomon just proved me wrong, and I'm so glad that they did. I thought it was absolutely perfectly articulated. Entertainment value, 5 out of 5. I was entertained the whole time. I was very attached to our main character. Intellectual value, 5 out of 5. There's so much beauty about memory, history, identity, and again, just an exploration of the ocean and what the ocean can represent but also physically do for you is really beautiful. 5 out of 5 for that. Timelessness, 5 out of 5. And my bias, 5 out of 5. I was obviously really excited for this. You guys saw that, so I kind of knew that I was gonna love it, but I love it even more now than I thought that I would have, or could have imagined that I would have. I do recommend reading the physical copy because I have heard Noelle, who I just previously mentioned, said she listened to it and she think it detracted from some of the value. My recommendation would be to read a physical copy if you can get your hands on it. Borrow it from a library, borrow it from a friend if they have it. If you're friends with me, borrow it from me. Or buy it, and if you do buy it from a black-owned bookstore. That's all I have to say about that. Also, I think I'm picking up The Rage of Dragons. I'm like almost 100% sure that I'm picking up The Rage of Dragons next, but right now I'm about to go eat dinner, and then we'll see what happens, how the night unfolds from there. Good evening, everybody. We're out here having a little nightcap. Some honey lavender stress relief tea. We just turned the kettle off, so we're about to have some tea and put some of our honey sticks in there for extra honey flavor. Time to unwind. Update. It is Sunday. I'm sitting on the porch with my little love muffin. I have 150-ish pages left of my Byron biography. I don't know if we're gonna make it, guys. I also feel like this week was a failure not only for vlogging content but also for reading. So I don't know if we're gonna hit 1,000, but I'm gonna read for a while and then I'll do an official update with you guys in the closing clip to see how much reading we did get in. He's pouting, but I'm not sure why. Hey there, everybody. We're back in the car. I just got to Alexander's house. It's Sunday, early evening. I'm about to just hang out with him for a little bit. We're probably gonna edit all the footage that I have so far, and then we're gonna play Disney's Seen It. I love that game so much. I have like the 2007 edition that doesn't have any of the newer movie information on it, but I kick freaking butt at that game because I have so much Disney knowledge. So we're gonna play that tonight, and I just wanted to quickly update because I feel like I've done a terrible job reading and vlogging this week, so I apologize if this one is a little slower or a little less eventful, but I am I have like 100 pages left of my Byron biography, so I'm not going to finish it this week, but I probably will finish it next week, so that's good. Looking forward to that. And I am just shy of the halfway point in the audiobook for Steel Tide, and I don't hate it. I don't love it. I don't know if I'm going to read the third book. So I did not love the first one. I gave it like a 2.75, 3 stars, because I don't love the main character, Caledonia, a lot. Caledonia. But I thought that some of the side characters in the first one, particularly one character, were really great, and I loved that character, and then Parker kills her off at the end of the first book. So I was like, well, I'm really hesitant to start the second book because the only character that I thought was really well written, or one of the only characters that I thought was well written, is dead. And now I'm halfway through the second one, and all of our time is spent with Caledonia and new characters because we follow her perspective. That's not really a spoiler, but a lot of the characters from the first one haven't even been introduced yet, and I'm halfway through, so I don't know. I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I don't know if I would recommend it yet because I'm not done with it yet, so I don't know. But I was hoping that it would be a lot better than it is so far. But again, I'm not even halfway. I'm just like 44% of the way done with the audiobook, so we'll see. But I just wanted to update you and let you know that, it's going okay, but not great. So if you've read this series, comment down below your non-spoilery thoughts, because I want to like it because it's about freaking pirates and the world is interesting, but I feel like Caledonia's character is very one-sided, and a lot of the issues that she deals with are kind of, just to me, very uncomplicated, and I think that it could be better, and it could be more nuanced and more complicated, but I don't know. It's still kind of cool, and I am developing an attachment to one of the new characters that's introduced in this book, so we shall see. I'll give you more thoughts when I finish it in my review, which will be next week probably, because I'm not going to finish it today. So if you want to know more of my thoughts, stay tuned for next week. But yeah, I'm about to go into Alexander's house, and we're going to play some Scene It. Hey everybody, it's now Monday, the next day, the last day of this vlog. I'm about to film the intro clip to next week's vlog. So if I'm wearing the same thing in next week's clip, that's why. But I wanted to just do a wrap-up clip and admit to you that I failed my mission to read 1,000 pages, but it's okay. I've got a lot of cool plans for the next few vlogs. I think I am going to be able to hit 1,000 pages at some point in July, but for this week I only got 525 pages read, which is not bad. It's still good. It's still not the least that I've done so far, so I'm happy with it, but I'm not ecstatic. So I read the entirety of The Deep, so I finished a book this week. Still really happy about that. It was a great book, 5 out of 5 stars, so I'm still keeping up with my reading pace really well. And then I am nearly done with the Byron biography. My goal was to finish it this week. I have like 70 pages left, so I'm definitely gonna finish it in the next vlog. I need to be done with it, so I just barely made it. I'm hoping actually to read the rest of this tonight. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I listened to about 48% of Steel Tide this week, so that's like half of the audiobook. I'll have more thoughts about that in my wrap-up clip when I finish it next week, but I still feel the same as I did yesterday when I updated you guys in the car. And then lastly, I read the first 20 pages of The Rage of Dragons. I took the dust jacket off, but I decided to go with this one of the 3 that I chose. I don't know if I ever ended up telling you guys that. I only read, like I said, like 20 pages, so I'm still orienting myself in this very complex fantasy world, so I have literally no idea what's going on. There's like a lot happens. It's like starts really fast paced and a lot happens from the beginning, but I'm still getting my bearings, so I probably won't really have a like definitive update until I reach like the 50 to 100 page mark. So stay tuned for that because I'm still reading that next week as well. But I just wanted to say thanks for watching this clip. I hope you liked this vlog, and stay tuned because I do have a lot of exciting plans for the next few vlogs, and I think, fingers crossed, I'm getting a vlogging camera soon. It's probably obvious, but if you don't know, I have been recording all of this on my iPhone and editing it on my laptop through iMovie. So I want to get a camera, but I'm not a tech person, so I need to go and like talk to someone and have them break it down for me. That's hopefully gonna happen soon. So thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for coming back to my channel, and I hope you all had a great beginning of July. Happy reading, happy writing, and happy living, everybody. Bye.